A very good afternoon to everybody who is tuning in. This is Midday Express with KURHULA giving you the latest news updates during your lunch hour. And now we start off with our headlines. EFF and Cyril Ramaphosa to do battle in court over CR17 bank statements. SATU demands resources equity for schools in poorer communities. Bushiri's daughter is critical in hospital as he fights arrest warrant. Uganda's wine withdraws election result challenge, citing unfair judiciary. And Elon Musk tweets himself out of $15 billion while the UK PM sets out lockdown exit plan. And now moving on to the first story this afternoon, Julius Malema has confirmed that the EFF will take Cyril Ramaphosa to court in a bid to make the sealed CR17 document public. The long-running saga has often been used as a stick to beat the ANC leader with, and in just a few weeks' time, there will be an almighty legal battle to discover what exactly is filed amongst this Calendar's paperwork. After billion-rand donations were made to his ANC leadership bid back in 2017, the sources of these general handouts were questioned extensively. The president was able to source a court order that sealed the detail of his donors, keeping them private for the foreseeable future. However, this did very little to stop tongues from wagging. Now, as Cyril Ramaphosa embarks on his latest anti-corruption campaign, the issues on his own doorstep have become a major talking point, with Julius Malema and the EFF keen to take advantage. Addressing his Twitter followers on Monday afternoon, Julius Malema revealed that the Red Berets would take their case against Ramaphosa to the Pretoria High Court. Ishmael Semenwe will be leading the bid to unseal the hidden documents.
Sealing of documents. If it's a really an official opposition in South Africa, where's the DA? They are together with Ramaphosa. They are together with Ramaphosa. And if the judges want to be with Ramaphosa, they must say so. If there is a constitution for Zuma, and there is a constitution for Ramaphosa, and there is a constitution for Malema, the judges must tell us. The judges must tell us. It must not be easy for any document shared with a public court to be sealed. Because the court becomes part of the cover-up. How can the court be part of the cover-up? How are we going to respect the court? If the court can seal things that are shared with a public court, people are not angry that the court is covering up. We want those documents. The public protector obtained the document legally. FIC came, the judge president said to the FIC, guys, your input is very clear. I don't even think you have to persuade us on anything unless you insist on saying something. That's how clear the documents were obtained by the public protector. Legally obtained documents are sealed. Illegal bank statements of us are being circulated in the media. Illegally obtained bank statements are circulated everywhere in the media. The documents that are legally obtained are shared with the court. The court helps to cover up. A court can't be part of a cover-up. We're not going to allow that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The court must release those documents. We want to know who gave Cyril money. We want to know who got the money from Cyril.
The South African Democratic Teachers Union has said that special praise should be given to mainly rural, township and non-free paying school as they managed to overcome the 2020 academic year, particularly in the midst of their own challenges outside of the COVID-19 lockdown. The union has welcomed the announcement made by Basic Education Minister Njimutsiha that the matric class of 2020 managed to achieve a 76.2 pass rate. For some, this may not be such good news, as this is a drop of 5.1 percentage points from 81.3% in 2019. SATU has also commended teachers at these schools for matric results, adding that the achievement came at a huge price for them, as they had to conduct catch-up lessons even beyond school hours to prepare the pupils for exams. The union has also called on government to provide stimulus package for the education sector to mitigate against the effects of the pandemic and also provide resources in the poorly resourced school. The 2020 matric examination were made by the leaking of the mathematics and physical science question papers. This prompted the Department of Education to order a rewrite of both exams. However, the decision was then reversed after AfriForum and SATU approached the courts.
It is without doubt that the 2020 academic year will be remembered as the year that not only presented major health challenges, but a year that the entire world was gulfed by novel COVID-19 pandemic, and government with its partner departments and its strategic partners worked very hard to strike a balance between saving lives and saving the year of 2020. We heard one of the learners says he was worried about having to repeat matric. Fellow South Africans, the Council of Education Ministers has approved sector priorities that lay the foundation for quality education, as well as contribute in providing permanent solutions to the architecture of the education and training system of our country once and for all. And these priorities inter alia include improving foundational skills in numeracy and literacy, which should be underpinned by a reading revolution, and ramping up early childhood development, which includes the urgent implementation of a 2-year ECD before grade 1, and therefore we have to migrate the 0 to 4-year-olds from the Department of Social Development to basic education.
In carrying out this task, for not thanking our President, Minister. I remember that day when we went to present to the National Coronavirus Command Council, and subsequent to that we went to Cabinet. When the whole nation was divided over the reopening of schools, Cabinet and the President stood together and gave us very clear instructions that you are going to reopen schools provided that you save lives and you save the academic year. We are eternally grateful to the leadership of our President and our Cabinet. We are led exceptionally well in our country. Let's put our heads together for the President. And lastly, Minister, I want to thank all the officials, especially the senior managers also from the department, the media, the organizing team. Mr. Mhlanga, you're doing very well, but you bring some of the songs too early, man. They were supposed to have been processed through a submission. You missed, processing these things through the submission and then before presenting them to the public. Otherwise, thank you very much. I want to thank our parents. Thank you for displaying your confidence in us. And again, thank our teachers for a wonderful job. Thank you very much, and thank to one and all. Thank you. You have proven that performance cannot be based on overall pass rate only. There are many dimensions to performance, and you have demonstrated that, and we are eternally grateful. We are very proud of you, as the minister said. The minister likes saying, the world is your oyster. We have prepared you for 12 years, and we are proud to release you to the world. Let's put our hands together for the class of 22. And in the same vein, as the minister has conveyed already, our unsung heroes and heroines are our teachers. Men and women who had...
Which is Southern and Eastern African Consortium for Monitoring Quality Education, which works on benchmarking grade 6. And we can say in all these international benchmark assessment studies, we have been proving or providing evidence that our basic education system is definitely on the rise. It is a system on the rise. So we are proud to announce, for instance, that last year, with the 2020 team, because we received the 2020 team's results last year, and in South Africa, we participated in these benchmark studies, and again pointed towards an upward trajectory in the past 11 years. So the latest team's results of 2019 explained in the context of many forms of inequalities, an education system that continues to improve on its achievements and continues to bridge gaps on disciplinary knowledge and educational outcomes. The team's 2019 results again confirm a steady increase in the percentage of grade 5 learners, because that's what it assesses. And just between 2003 and 2019, as a country, we've increased our points from 104 points in maths and 100.
Trade unions leaders could not hide their excitement as they received their jabs for COVID-19 vaccines on Monday at Steve Biko Academic Hospital in Pretoria. Success Maitsane, who is the General Secretary of National Union of Public Service and Allied Workers, said he is excited about getting his jab and encourages all citizens to go and get theirs. On the other hand, Dr. Cedric Sihlangu of South African Medical Association Trade Union says they are supporting the government in attempts to get everybody vaccinated.
It was a wonderful experience, I must say, especially after the reservations that one had previously. Vaccine gave us confidence that at least there are people in the country, in our own laboratories, who are testing, who are doing the actual testing.
This is a mammoth task. It's certainly not an easy undertaking. However, what the government has demonstrated is sheer keenness to deliver this vaccine to every citizen. So I think we must give them some credit. They are trying their level best, and as union, we want to support those efforts. Look, it was a seamless experience, very straightforward. I'm actually okay. I'm not feeling busy, and I encourage everyone to actually go forth and get the vaccine.
There is nothing that our members and the general public need to fear about this vaccine. So if this vaccine will help reduce the number of hospitalizations and then also reduce the number of deaths, so why not? So there's no concern if this vaccine is going to work, and I'm very confident that it's going to help a lot of people.
Former Transport Minister Dipuo Peters yesterday told Zondo Commission that Prasa struggled to handle the demand that came with being a mass carrier during her tenure as the Transport Minister. Peters started off by telling the Commission that she got herself in the Office of Transport Department through former President Jacob Zuma, who deployed her. She says when she arrived for the first day in the office, she was quickly made aware of the daily operations, and it was there that she discovered that Prasa was struggling. Peters added that people who were working and who seeking jobs along with school kids were all dependent upon Prasa for logistics to their destinations, and that proved to be too much for the institution. She went on to say that on the Transport Department, it was more like a family set up, as the challenges were nothing unusual except what any family would go through.
Chairperson, I think if I have to start off from the statement that was issued by my legal representative with regard to my preparedness and readiness to cooperate and work with the Commission to be able to unravel some of the challenges that have been raised with regard to Prasa, I should, through you, Chairperson, probably start by indicating that I was deployed to Prasa by former President Zuma on the 9th of July 2013. It was exactly on a Monday like this. And I had the opportunity to appraise myself with the workings of all the entities, 12 of them, and 2 councils. The one is called the Licensing Council and the Regulating Councils that deals with aviation. And Chairperson, I would want to put before the Commission that Prasa, being as big as it is, was one of the biggest actually because of the importance of the service that it was providing to the people of South Africa. It is not easy to be a mass carrier. And Prasa had to transport commuters who were going to work, going to look for work, and at the same time transport students who were going to school, some people who were new qualified people who went to look for jobs. So it was a very important institution that I found under the stable, under transport. When I arrived in transport, Chairperson, transport was regarded as a family. And taking into consideration the challenges that you would find in a family, I then said to the team of men and women that
And moving on to the next story, Malawian police swapped on one of Prophet Bushiri's premises in a bid to effect a warrant of arrest, a move his lawyers have challenged through a court injunction. Ephraim Nyondo, spokesperson for Prophet Bushiri, said the arrest warrant had followed the blocking of Bushiri's daughter from leaving Malawi to fly to Nairobi, Kenya to obtain medical treatment on Friday. The daughter, who's 8 years old, was duly referred by competent Malawi medical professionals to seek further medical treatment, and all required immigration details were in place to facilitate her travel through a chartered air ambulance. She was accompanied by 3 guardians. Prophet Bushiri and Prophetess Bushiri were allegedly not part of the delegation. A few hours after the child was denied her right to good health and right to life, Malawi police issued a warrant of arrest for Prophet Bushiri and Prophetess Mary Bushiri. Nyondo said his office had at this stage not received any information from government officials regarding why the child had been denied the right to lawfully access medication attention after a medical profession had referred for her treatment. And moving on to the next story, opposition leader Bobi Wine said on Monday he was dropping a legal challenge to Uganda's presidential election results that handed victory to incumbent Yoweri Museveni, saying Supreme Court justices hearing the cases were biased. Museveni, a former guerrilla leader who was led at East African country since 1986, was declared winner of the January 14 election with 59% of the vote, while Wine was given 35%. Wine, a 39-year-old pop star and lawmaker whose real name is Robert Kulugulanyi, has rejected the results and said he believed victory was stolen from him. He asked the court to overturn the results on several grounds, including widespread of violence. As proof, he cited the court's decision to reject an application he had made to file additional evidence he had showed pre-ticking of ballots, false tallies of ballots, and impossibly high voter turnout and other irregularities. Wine also said some of the court's judges had met Museveni several times since he filed the petition, and some of the meetings had been secret. And now moving on to the next story, Elon Musk lost an eye-watering amount of money yesterday, and yet he still has $183 billion in the bank. The day of misfortune also saw the Pretoria-born tech whiz loss in his status as the world's richest person after an ill-judged tweet saw his net worth drop by just over 7%. In total, it understood that Elon Musk lost $15 billion over the past 24 hours, almost 220 billion rands legally tanked to his own tweets. His electric vehicle company Tesla has invested $1.5 billion in the digital currency Bitcoin, but the entrepreneur cashed out over the true value of certain crypto brands. On Friday, Musk sought to defend his company's investment and contrasted Bitcoin with some traditional fiat currencies. When fiat currently has a negative real interest, only a fool wouldn't look elsewhere. He tweeted in the reference to his company move into Bitcoin. However, it was the post that saw Tesla's shares slide by 8.6%. And now Elon Musk is now replaced as the top of 3 by Jeff Bezos, whose net worth is estimated to be $186 billion. That's $3 billion more than the SpaceX founder's newly adjusted fortune, but the pair continue to swap places in the battle for the converted #1 spot. It also worth remembering that Musk has been net worth soar over the past 12 months, worth less than $30 billion last February. Rapid progress with both Tesla and SpaceX saw his estimated fortune explode, pushing the $200 billion mark earlier this month. Before topping Bezos, the Amazon founder had enjoyed an uninterrupted 3-year spell as the world's richest person. The pair are currently worth combined $369 billion, which is 5.4 trillion rands. And now the Prime Minister Boris Johnson unveiled a map of lockdown for England that would keep some businesses shuttered until the summer, saying caution was necessary to ensure there were no reversals on a one-way road to freedom.
Nearly a year after this pandemic began, this unparalleled national effort has decisively shifted the odds in our favour, so that we no longer have to rely simply on lockdowns and restricting our behaviour and putting our lives on hold. But with every day that goes by, this programme of vaccination is creating a shield around the entire population, which means that we're now travelling on a one-way road to freedom. And therefore, as we look at the data today, I can confirm that 2 weeks from today, Monday the 8th of March, we will begin step 1. And schools and colleges across England will reopen and teaching in classrooms can start again. And on the 29th of March, you can meet more of your friends and family outside, including in gardens, either as 2 households or subject to the rule of 6. And then we'll go on to step 2, which is no earlier than the 12th of April. And this is a big moment because shops will return and reopen, hairdressers, nail salons will reopen, pubs and restaurants will all be able to serve customers outside, precisely because we know that outside the risk of transmission is lower. And then 5 weeks after that, no earlier than May the 17th, we'll go to step 3 and open all our hospitality sector to service indoors, pubs, bars, restaurants, along with hotels and cinemas. And subject to capacity limits, we will also open sports stadia, concert halls and theatres. Provided we continue to pass the 4 tests, then from the 21st of June, we will go to step 4 and say goodbye to most remaining restrictions. But, you know, I don't believe that this is going to mean a fundamental change to the way our life in our big cities really works. And I think that London, our great cities, will be full of buzz and life and excitement again, provided people have confidence about coming back into those city centres. I think that our great cities will bounce back along with the rest of the economy once we've got this roadmap delivered. Anyway, that's all we've got time for.
And moving on to the next story, President Joe Biden led an American in observing a moment of silence on Monday to commemorate the grim milestone of more than 500,000 U.S. deaths from COVID-19, urging Americans to set aside partisan differences and fight the pandemic together.
Today we mark a truly grim, heartbreaking milestone.
U.S. President Joe Biden commemorated the deaths of 500,000 Americans from COVID-19 at the White House on Monday, just over a year since the coronavirus pandemic claimed its first known victim in the country.
As a nation, we can't accept such a cruel fate.
Biden also called on Americans to remain vigilant, continue wearing masks, and set aside partisan differences and fight the pandemic together.
We must end the politics and misinformation that's divided families, communities, and the country. It has cost too many lives already.
In an interview with Reuters on Monday, Biden's top advisor on COVID-19, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said political divisiveness contributed significantly to the stunning death toll.
There's red states and blue states that, are almost hostile to each other in some respects because of political differences. I think that's the worst possible ingredients to be able to address an outbreak of an infection that even under the best of circumstances would be a formidable challenge.
About 19% of total global coronavirus deaths have occurred in the United States, an outsized figure given that the nation accounts for just 4% of the world's population. Bells tolled at the National Cathedral in Washington to honor the lives lost, ringing 500 times to symbolize the 500,000 deaths. Biden also ordered that all flags on federal properties and military facilities be lowered to half staff for the next 5 days. After his speech, Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and their spouses stood silently as Amazing Grace was played.
And that was all that I had for you today during Midday Express, giving you the latest news update during your lunch hour. I hope that you have enjoyed, and I thank you for tuning in with us. From me and Galaxy Universal Network, we say until next time.